Hey gamers, Maniac here with GameAccess.net, doing a video for all of you guys that hopefully will help you all out, particularly if you're an Apple owner who has an Apple phone, pad, or watch. Normally I wouldn't do a video like this. You guys know that I have certain feelings about Apple devices. I've since gotten over most of them. But the important thing to know about all of this is that there is no unified information available, particularly not on Apple's website. There's no manual about any of this stuff. And all the information that I could find online is all just basically hunt and picked by whatever I could pull off of the Apple Store website, my own conversations with Apple geniuses, and my own experimentation from just lots and lots and lots of Apple purchasing recently. So here's the thing. You have an Apple device, whether it be an iPhone, an iPad, an Apple Watch. We're not going to be really talking about the Macs here, so just be aware of that. And you're going to need to know how to charge it, aren't you? That's great. And now with the iPhone 12, you have lots and lots and lots of charging options available to you, whether it be through USB Lightning, Thunderbolt to Lightning. Okay, you guys can insert the very, very frightening comment below. Or MagSafe more recently. Lots of options are available to you guys. We're going to talk about all the accessories that are out there, everything that's compatible with all the devices that I'm aware of, and you can make your own decisions as to what purchases you're going to want to make from there once you know the pros and cons of everything. Now, if you bought an iPhone device, like starting as late as the iPhone 11 or earlier, you probably got exactly two things with your device. That would have been this standard plain old USB to Lightning cable. These have been pretty much standard on iPhones and included with iPhones ever since I think the iPhone 5S. Standard 1 meter cable. And you also would have gotten this little power brick. Lots of people have these power bricks. These are 5-watt Apple USB power bricks. They've been including these with iPhones since the iPhone was invented. So you probably have a whole bunch of these depending upon how long you've been having Apple products. You've probably got a whole bunch of these lying around. Under normal circumstances, what would you do? You take one of these cables, you plug the USB end into the charger, you plug the Lightning end into your phone or your iPad if you're in a pinch, and you'd plug it into the wall, and you'd start charging that way. Under normal circumstances, a full charge on an iPhone, depending upon how old the battery is, could take you several hours, a better portion of an evening. Like I would say probably around 5 hours or so. You would want to leave it overnight or something. These will take a while to charge. Now, what are the pros and cons of using this? Convenience, they come with it, so it works. And also, most computers will also allow you to use the USB port on it to either charge directly off the computer, or if you happen to have iTunes installed, which you should have installed on your computer, whether you have a Mac or a PC, you should have basically be able to do a full system sync and backup to your computer, basically, of your device. Now, what if you're not an iPhone owner? What if you're getting an iPad? Well, you'd probably get this cable too, unless you have an iPad Pro. And you'd get this. This is a 12-watt power brick. These used to come in 10 watts back in the day, but now they come in pretty standard 12 watts. You'll know based on what's under them, what they output and what they draw. Keep that in mind, obviously. If you have a 10-watter and you go out and you buy something about this size and it's 12, you'll be okay, so don't worry about that too much. This is designed to basically charge an iPad, a non-pro iPad to be exact. No difference. Connect via USB cable, plug in through the Lightning port. If you need to sync with this cable to your computer, just be aware that while you can get sync through USB, you can't get power through USB, at least not enough power to charge an iPad while it's syncing. What's the problem with that? We'll go over that a bit later, but just be aware those are your options for the iPad, at least out of the box. Now, what if you get an Apple Watch? One of these. Well, the Apple Watch comes with its own charger, and I ended up buying an Apple Watch Series 6 just for this video, actually, just to see what this would come with. No power brick was included with that watch, but it did come with this. This is an Apple Watch MagSafe charger. As you can see, it's a magnetized charging cable. You basically just affix it underneath the watch while you're charging it. Obviously, you'll have to take it off your wrist to do so. This particular model comes with a regular USB output. From what I've been told, you can use this with a smaller power brick. I've used it with the 12-watt power brick. It did work. These do come with a USB-C. There is a USB-C cable for this instead. You'll have to buy that from Apple. It's not included with the watch, so just be aware of that. I'm assuming probably with the next generation watches or maybe a later generation watch, they may be USB-C exclusive, but for right now, this is what we get. There is no computer syncing with an Apple Watch. If you do sync, it's probably going to be to an iPhone. The iPhones have the Watch Sync app pretty much installed standard since the iPhone 5S. So you'd probably be using that instead. So those are your basic options for charging. But this is the new millennium. This is 2020. This is 2021 now. There's got to be better options than this. And if you happen to have seen the iPhone 12 announcement video like I have, you would have been fascinated by all these magnetic charging options, similar to what we're using to charge the Apple Watch. What options do we have there? And what do you have to do in order to make it work? Well, this video is for you. That's talking about the MagSafe system. The MagSafe system works very similar to how it charges through the Apple Watch. It uses a magnetic charging plate that basically will affix to the back of an iPhone in order to charge it. That way, your lightning port doesn't have to be used and you can use it for something else, like wired headphones or, that sort of thing, basically. You don't have to, use your lightning port to do that. It can also be used with accessories like travel cases or some other accessories that I'm going to show you guys. This right here is the Apple Silicon case. These are $50. This particular model that I bought works on either the iPhone 12 or the iPhone 12 Pro. As you can see, I actually have an iPhone 12 Pro. How can you tell? The three cameras are the way to tell. But I also actually ended up getting another accessory for it that does affix to it. And this is the iPhone leather wallet holder, which uses the MagSafe to basically affix to the back of your phone, whether it has a MagSafe compatible case or whether it has no case on it. You can just simply snap it on and it'll start working. Those, well, granted they are leather, but the Apple leather wallet actually only works on the iPhone 12 line. They come in multiple different colors. I got the navy blue. I happen to like the navy blue designs, as you can tell. But it also comes in like a black color and a couple of different shades of gray, I think. There might be a white, I can't remember. There's also a tan leather color as well. Depending upon what you like, just pick your preference for color. There's no difference. It all pretty much works the same. So, let's say you want to use MagSafe, but you don't have a MagSafe compliant case. You cannot use MagSafe. This is MagSafe. This is what a MagSafe charger looks like. These, under normal circumstances, cost $40 US. On one end is the MagSafe a magnetic charger, and on the other end is this new charger cable. This is USB-C or Thunderbolt if you prefer. If you bought an iPhone 12 or any iPhone 12 line, the only cable that would have been included is this cable, the USB-C to Lightning cable. If you do not have a USB-C port on your computer, and many people don't, this cable will not work for you without an adapter. Or you'll have to go back to using this USB-C cable. If your computer does not have this port, however, it could be the opposite. Newer MacBook Pros, particularly MacBook Airs and the iMac, for example, only include these USB-C ports. There's no regular old standard USB-A ports on any of the new Macs, with the exception of the Mac Mini that I've seen recently. Please keep that in mind, because you might have to buy the cable depending upon what kind of hardware you have. And if your hardware is not compatible, you may have to rebuy alternate accessories or adapters. That's just what goes with the territory these days, I'm afraid. But under normal circumstances, there's a reason why Apple is switching over to the USB-C as opposed to using this antiquated USB-A connection. And that is that these particular cables not only will support higher speed transfers, the Thunderbolt 4 ports that will fit this specification, or I should say will fit this form factor, on the new Mac Pros, for example, can actually do a data transfer at about 40 gigs a second. That is insane transfer speeds. Majority of this, the maximum I've seen on a standard USB-A cable, even a USB 3A cable, is somewhere between 5 and 10 gigs. And again, the 10 gigs is just dependent upon, will your port support it, will your device support it, and will your cable support it. Under normal circumstances, it would be at most 5 gigs. And I think these are maxed at 5 gigs, so keep that in mind. There's also power limitations to how much juice and how much amperage you can get through this cable. As I said, for some of you guys, if you try to charge with this cable an iPad while it's syncing to your computer, it won't work. You won't be able to do it. But if you got one of these cables and you synced it to an iPad from a Thunderbolt equipped computer, whether it be one of the Mac Minis or a MacBook Pros, or certain IBM or Lenovo model computers that have this specification, you will be able to actually charge your iPad while syncing your computer, while syncing it to your computer. So keep that in mind. Now, why did I have to go through all of these specifications? Why is Apple using this? Well, like I said, the maximum I've seen for these are about 12 watts for these USB-A cables. With these new iPhone 12s, these things can charge at about 20 watts, which is insanity as far as I'm concerned. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take this cable, and whether your computer supports it or not, you want to buy, and I believe I have one or two of them here, a higher wattage power cable. This is a 20 watt USB power cable, USB-C power brick. As you can see, here's a little close-up of it. This is what it looks like out of the box. As you can see, this particular port will only fit something that's USB-C compliant. So if I want to use MagSafe, I have to have this 20 watt brick, basically. Now, what's the beautiful part about it? Simplicity. While you can't charge while this is connected, I know it sucks, unfortunately. As long as you're using a MagSafe compliant case, and we'll go into a couple of those options later on. Boom. Just stick it right to the back of your phone, provided it's plugged in, it'll immediately start charging. You can charge at about 15 watts through MagSafe, at least to an iPhone. I know that's not a complete charge. I have seen higher wattages just simply using the provided USB-C cable. But when it comes down to convenience and stability, I'll use the 15 watt. Now, if you're using something else, like let's say, for example, you have an Apple Watch, you have an iPhone, and you want to charge both of them at the same time, you actually can do that. This right here is what you want. This is the MagSafe Duo adapter, or the MagSafe Duo charger. It's basically a two-part charging plate. One of those chargers is for the iPhone, and the other one is for charging the watch. It uses a USB-C to Lightning cable to charge, and from there As you can see in the diagram provided, you can charge both your watch and your phone at the same time. Again, provided you have a MagSafe compliant case. And remember, MagSafe will only work with compliant cases. This is an example of just one of them. Apple also makes a leather MagSafe case and a clear MagSafe case. Either of those will also work. As for third-party options, there aren't that many that I'm aware of. The only third-party MagSafe charger that the only third-party MagSafe compliant case that I've seen was manufactured by OtterBox. It's $90. Yes, it's an OtterBox case, and yes, the majority of OtterBox cases that I've seen over the years usually have sticker prices at around that level. But just be aware, you're going to pay a lot of money for that type of case, so just be aware of that. But I got to be honest, I do love doing that, though. I really do. It's just so convenient. I mean, ever since I got this thing, I've been using MagSafe with it. Now, as for what kind of charging brick you want to use with this particular type of charge dock, you can use this. But according to Apple specifications, using this with this, because it's a 20-watt adapter and the power is split between the two devices, I believe will only charge your iPhone up to about, I think, 11 watts or so. You'd be able to get higher output basically using this device separately. They did recommend, and I'm not kidding about this, at least on the Apple Store website, a 27-watt USB-C brick. I, for the life of me, could not find a 27-watt brick. The closest I could find on Apple's website or in stores is this 30-watt brick. This is meant for MacBook Airs. Now, if you've already got a MacBook Air and you've got one of these USB-C cables that will fit, a USB-C to Lightning cable, you're thinking, can I use this to charge my phone? Yes, you can. You're probably not going to get the whole 30 watts out of it, but you will get enough to basically charge your phone. You will be able to charge your phone off of this. In fact, I've actually tried, and this is just me. I've actually tried using 60 watt. I know. I was great. We had nothing better to do one afternoon. We had a whole crate of like 60 watt Apple USB-C chargers that were erroneously purchased, and we were completely lost on what kind of on chargers. We had no spare USB-A chargers or anything like that, and we had a whole bunch of iPads that we needed to charge up. So Ingenuity Me basically took one of these 60 watt models, connected it to a USB-C to Lightning cable, which were only being used at that time. And where's that USB-C to Lightning I had? Here you are. Connected to one of these cables and tried to use it to charge an iPad. Did it work? Yep. Was the iPad okay? Yep. Worked just fine. And it was a faster way to charge. I wouldn't recommend doing that permanently, but it would be an option if you're in a pinch and your options are limited. Now, what would my options be for you? First off, you're going to have to take inventory of what kind of computer you've got and what kind of device you want to buy and what you may have lying around. If you have Apple cables hanging around that are still intact, by the way, if your cable is frayed for whatever reason, and trust me, these fray. If your cable is frayed on either end or yellowed, or if you plug it in, it doesn't work, throw the cable out. It's useless. You're going to have to get another one regardless, so keep that in mind. But take inventory, obviously, of what kind of cables and adapters and devices that you actually have that work, what your devices are that you want to connect to it, be it your computer or laptop or something, and what devices that you want to purchase. If you want to buy an iPad Pro, for example, you're going to want a USB-C to USB-C cable. And you're going to want probably something along these lines. This one at minimum, basically. You're going to want like a 20 to 30 watt power brick to go along with it. That's for an iPad Pro. If you have a standard iPad, like the one that I'm using to record this video, 12 watts should be more than adequate for you. Under normal circumstances, your iPad will probably come with this, along with a cable for it. You can use that, you'll be fine. If you want to use... if you want to use these two cables to charge an iPad, go ahead. You can do it. It's no big deal. This will work. If you have an Apple Watch, like I said, your watch will come with this. You could use this brick. This is the 12 watt. But the 5 watt will also work. It just depends upon how long you want to wait for it to charge. If you plan on buying an iPhone 12 of any type, can I be honest with you? Don't use this. This thing can handle 20 watts. Charging it with 5 watts is a joke. You don't want to do that. You're going to take all day. I've tried charging this thing on 20 watts directly. It would do a full battery charge in about 2 hours. Using MagSafe at 15 watts, 2 hours also. Totally fair way of charging. I loved it. But again, I had to pay for this. I had to pay for this. Otherwise, I'd have no case for it. And if I ever dropped it, who knows what would happen to it, basically. But I must say, these silicone cases, they're quite thin, but they are effective. Just, bravo. They're very well constructed. I'm sure the leather cases are just fine also. But keep that in mind. Well, hopefully this video was informative to you guys. If you had any questions about, well, I want to buy this, or I want to buy this, or I don't have this, post a comment below with your thoughts, and I'll see if I can answer it. I really wish Apple would actually provide this information, like a unified document on their website, as to what kind of charging standards are available or what's compatible with all the bricks that are currently out there. Again, I wouldn't want to use a 60 watt brick on, meant for like an Intel MacBook Pro or something. But, I mean, if this MagSafe Duo will run on 30, hey, I'll spend the money for it. So until next time, guys, my name is Maniac with GameAccess.net. Take care. Over and out.